be a lot of singing.
5, 6, 7, 8.
You are my fire, the one desire.
I opted down. Okay.
Believe when I say I want it that way. Tell me why.
Ain't nothing but a heartache.
Tell me why. How come we switched roles?
I don't know. And
I sang higher and you sang lower.
And I don't think we're singing in the same key.
We're totally not.
Well,
that was awful. Welcome to our podcast.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Generation in Between, a Xennial Podcast where we remember, revisit, and sometimes relearn all kinds of things from being 80s kids and 90s teens. I am Danny.
Hello, I'm Katie.
And if you couldn't tell by our melodic intro, it was probably anything but melodic, but it was singing nonetheless. Today, our episode topic is about the Backstreet Boys.
Yay!
Now, we are in the middle of our boy band series. I think we've got a couple more to go. We don't know. Yeah. Maybe just one more. I think maybe just one more. I don't know if we need to do more than that.
We'll see.
I'm getting kind of like the research for this is so much.
Yeah. I feel like for this era of boy bands too, there is so much information.
Well, and there's a lot of controversy as we'll talk about today.
Yeah. I think the further, like the closer you get to the 2000s as well, the information and the what's available for these groups goes up too.
Well, and to be fair, Backstreet and NSYNC was kind of the end of the boy band era for myself for a bit. And so we'll see. But there's NSYNC at least coming up. But anyway, we're in the mid, and today is Backstreet Boys Day. And before we talk about our own personal attachment to this group, I'm going to quiz you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay. So how many members are there?
5.
Okay. Can you tell me all their names?
I think so. Howie, Howard. Is it 2 Howies? I'm already doing.
Oh my God.
Well, there's a Howie.
Oh,
and there's a Kevin.
Wait a minute.
And there's a Brian.
Wait, pause. Are you saying you thought there was a Howie and a Howard?
I thought there were 2 with the same name.
Oh my God. What?
No. Okay. It must be confusing.
There's probably another boy band out there.
Yeah.
But okay, incorrect. So Howie is correct.
Isn't Kevin?
Kevin is correct.
Brian?
Brian is correct. AJ?
I guess I'm missing the 5th one, who I thought was named Howard.
Nick.
Oh, Nick.
How could you forget Nick?
I don't know. I think he's my least favorite, though.
Wow, yeah. Really?
Uh-huh.
And he was my favorite.
Okay.
Well, we'll talk about it when we get there. Okay. So doing so good on the trivia so far.
Yeah.
Who's the oldest?
I'm going to guess Kevin.
Correct.
Okay.
By a lot. Now, you remember in New Kids, people always thought Joey was like a lot younger than the oldest, who was John. It was only like 4 years.
Okay.
Kevin, I think he was, we'll get there with the math. I think he was like 7 or 8 years older.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like Nick was 13 at the time that they got together, and Kevin was like 20, 21. So that's
okay. So there's a pretty big gap.
Yeah.
Oh, quick thing. I don't know. If you saw on our YouTube.
Nick is the youngest. That was my next question for you.
Oh, shoot. There you go. Nick's the youngest. Well, I don't know if you saw on our YouTube, someone commented that John Knight, going back to New Kids on the Block, we had said he was the oldest in his family, but I guess he's not. The 2 sisters are older than him. So he's the oldest in New Kids, and he's older than Jordan. But the 2 sisters in his family are older than him.
Oops.
That's what she said.
Whoops.
Yeah, nicely.
How did my research fail me?
I mean, I guess she could be wrong, but that's what she said.
I mean,
and I believe her.
Let's just trust somebody else over me.
Okay.
All right.
Well, anyway,
moving on. 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
You're just going to have to guess on one of them. The other one you'll probably figure out. How many albums have they released?
Oof. I'm going to guess 5.
10.
Wow, really?
I know. Yeah. They're still out there. They're still working.
Okay. All right.
Last one is, what city were they formed?
Orlando.
Yes. Okay, you did better on New Kids.
Except for I did better on New Kids.
So let's talk now about Backstreet Boys. So were you a fan back in the day?
Yes. I loved Backstreet Boys.
But you didn't know who was in the group.
So I guess I wasn't a super fan. Like, I like Backstreet Boys.
Were you more of an NSYNC?
I was a huge NSYNC fan.
Okay.
Which is why I'm doing the research for NSYNC.
So this is where we're going to talk, because as you were answering the questions, I think people of our generation who loved boy bands, you had one, I liked both of them, but I gravitated more towards Backstreet than NSYNC. And as you were answering, I was like, I bet she was an NSYNC person.
I was.
The most interesting thing is that you'll find out, I only went into a little bit of it because I want you to uncover the rest of it in your research when you do NSYNC. They were formed by the same person.
Right.
And they were formed to compete against each other to make that company more money.
That makes sense.
So you'll find out more about it.
Okay.
And we'll talk a little bit about it. Okay, so you were a fan, but you didn't like over the top.
I wasn't an over the top fan. I liked all their music, though. I liked all their songs. I loved Kevin, piano player.
You loved Kevin.
I loved him.
Okay.
Tall, cute.
They were all cute.
They were all cute. That's true.
And they're all good dancers, which is really fun to watch.
Which I love. I went and saw them in concert. I think it was their Millennium Tour.
Same.
Yeah. So like in
99.
Chicago, so a big arena or whatever. And it was great.
Yeah.
I went with some friends. But I mean, that was about it. I wasn't over the top crazy about them.
Well, as we realize, I have an extreme personality, so I love them. The interesting thing was I was an older teen when they came out. And as we talk about their timeline, I'll throw in my memories as we go, because I've seen them several times.
Okay.
Throughout my life, because I was like a senior in high school when they came big here in this country. So, all right. So we're fans.
We are.
But maybe I was a bigger one. But Nick was my favorite.
Huh.
She said, huh.
Okay.
You know what? He was my age. We were born the same year.
Sense.
And
Kevin was older than us.
he, I don't know. As we've established, I don't really have a type. Although I'm surprised you said Kevin. I would have thought.
Do you know who Nick reminds me of now that I'm thinking about it? What the heck is his name on Dawson's Creek who liked Jen so much that was younger than her, the blonde?
Oh, Henry. Yeah.
Nick reminds me of Henry.
Yeah.
He's giving Henry energy.
I love me blonde hair and blue eyes.
You do love Henry.
I do love Henry. Sense. I mean, also, I don't know. I thought because he was younger, I felt like he had the most energy.
Okay.
When I saw them live a couple times. But then later we saw him and he was going through some stuff and yikes. But anyway, so let's chat. So Backstreet Boys and like I said, NSYNC is kind of in the same. So Katie will have some of the same information. They were created, note I said created, in the mid 1990s by the late Lou Perlman, who actually was kind of a dirtbag, and he ran one of the biggest Ponzi schemes in this country.
Yikes.
So I watched a documentary on Netflix. It was like 3 episodes called Dirty Pop. And it was about him and his whole, and it's so elaborate and there's so much detail. I'm just going to give you a brief overview. So just to refresh your brain, if you don't know what a Ponzi scheme is, or you're like me and like, is it this? So Ponzi scheme is a type of investment fraud that pays like existing investors with funds collected from other investors instead of having like actual profits earned by a legitimate business. Usually there's fake businesses and you're just kind of moving money around, pocketing some, if that makes sense.
It does.
Yeah. So organizers often like lure people in by promising high returns with like little to no risk. So they find people who have a lot of money that like to invest things and they're like, oh, here's all this stuff. And they're usually people who run Ponzi schemes are pretty good at lying and knowing business. Like you have to know what you're doing to be successful at this.
Yeah.
And Lou Perlman was, and he had lots of connections and he was a good shyster, if like I would say. So before we get into the next few episodes of our boy band series, we do have to spend a little time on this. So like I said, I recommend that documentary if you want to know the detailed ins and outs. I'm not going to say everything. But here we go. So basically he ran a $300 million Ponzi scheme where he defrauded lots of people and the artists who he had on in his deals. It led to his 2008 conviction, and then he eventually died in prison.
Wow.
A few years after that. There was lots of lies, lots of shadiness, including He had insurance fraud with his very first company, which was a blimp company in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not going into the weeds with this. And then he had like this fancy private like airline company that didn't actually own any of their own airplanes. So what he would do, and they show this in the documentary, he would have model planes and take pictures on runways with like a fake logo. He would then lease private planes from another company, use those planes to lease to his customers at a higher price.
Okay. So he didn't own the ones he was leasing.
He said he did.
Right.
And in all his advertisements and stuff, he's showing these planes, but they were like fake. Everything was made up. So the name of his company was Transcontinental Airlines. So during this time when he was running this business, he had lots of hands in lots of different fake businesses or whatever, made up things. He had the New Kids on the Block as a client where they rented a private jet from him. And while they were there, he realized, oh, so that group has enough money to rent out private planes. And he saw like the lifestyle they were living. So he got the idea for another way to make money. So he's like, I'm going to get into the music management industry. So Transcontinental also became a music management company.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Right. So he actually lived in the Orlando area at the time. So in 1992, he put an ad in the Orlando Sentinel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out.
And the ad said he wanted to create a New Kids on the Block look with a Boys to Men sound. And he was looking for males ages 16 to 19. Okay. Now, note that ages because a few of them were not in that age bracket. Actually, probably more than half weren't in that age bracket. So AJ McLean was the first member to get a spot, even though he was only 14 at the time.
Okay.
So he was here. He had just finished up an acting gig for Nickelodeon, which is kind of how I don't know if his agent told him or whatever. We're going to get more into details about the members on part 2. So I'll find more info then. So he prepared a song and some choreography. Now, AJ had been dancing since he was 4. He was like formally trained dancer. He took ballet, he took tap, he took jazz. So if you ever watch them and you have dance at some point in your life, his technique just, like, people who have any experience with dance, if you're watching people dancing, it's the way people hold their hands or they'll hold their feet or the way they know how to, I don't know. If you watch him, you can say, oh yeah, now the other ones have been trained too, but he had been trained since a young age.
Okay.
So anyway, blobbity blue blue, he auditioned at Lou's house. He had like a blimp hanger and that's where he would hold auditions.
This is crazy.
He lived in this ginormous, amazing, beautiful property, which I think was in Kissimmee.
Okay.
It was like outside of Orlando because it was like on a bunch of land and there was like water and all this stuff. So he was the first one to get his spot. He wasn't the first person to audition, but the first person who auditioned who got a spot. And then I don't know how the rest of them came in, but here's their story. So Howie, the only one who's named Howie.
Yes. And
Howie
he lives here.
He does. He lives on the Space Coast. He actually auditioned not under his name. He had a stage name he was using at the time because he had been in the performing world since he was young as well. And he was trying to get into acting in New York. And his manager said, we need to give you a stage name that sounds more interesting. So his stage name was Tony Donetti.
Okay. All right.
They said his birth name was too formal.
Yeah.
But whatever. Tony Donetti. I don't know. Anyway. So he auditioned for the group and then like 2 months went by and he still hadn't heard anything. Well, another agent was like, hey, you should go re-audition. And he's like, I already did this. And they're like, no, you need to go back. So he goes back. He goes in for his audition and he walks in and they were like, oh my gosh, we've been looking for you. We've been looking for your phone number because they lost his headshot that had his stuff on the back.
Oh, wow.
And because his name was not his real name, they couldn't find his phone number in the phone book era. It's easier now, like you go on the internet and find somebody's Insta or whatever.
Right.
But they were like, we've been trying to find you because they wanted to offer him a spot.
Oh my gosh.
So he
Thank God he went back.
I know. And he got lost on his way there. He couldn't find it. So the universe wanted him in this group, obviously.
Yes.
So that's how he got his spot. AJ and Howie actually already knew each other. They met one time when they were both performing at the Latin Carnival in Orlando. They were both contestants in a singing contest, and AJ beat Howie. And then they just, they were young Latin performers who were seeing each other at a lot of the same things.
Yeah, they were probably getting called to the same castings and stuff. Yeah, that makes sense.
So they kind of already were familiar with each other. Plus, they had seen Nick around. And so those three kind of already knew each other from the performing scene. So that brings us to Nick. He auditioned at the young age of, I think he was still 11, almost 12.
Whoa.
Yeah, he was young. He auditioned for the Mickey Mouse Club that same day. And his mom said, and he got the offers on the same day. So she said, you're going to have to pick. Which one do you want to do? And he would have been in the cast of Mickey Mouse Club with Britney Spears and Ryan Gosling.
Wow.
So I think he made the right choice. So he chose. He's like,
I mean, either one would have been okay. Those both ended up being. It's hard. I know. Because we have the gift of retrospect. But if you're in that moment and they're forming a boy group that has no credentials, or you can be on the Mickey Mouse Club.
I think he made the right choice because I think he. But also, why was his mom letting him? I don't know.
If that's true.
No, he said that in an interview.
Oh.
And he's like, I don't know why she didn't let me make that choice, but whatever.
Maybe she didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Put it on him.
And then Kevin. So now we're at Kevin. He was actually working at Disney World at the time as a performer. Mm-hmm. He was Aladdin. He was, I think he was Goofy. He did all kinds of things there. So he heard about the audition while he was working at Disney World. So he went, he auditioned, he got the spot, and he called his cousin, Brian, who was still, they're both from Kentucky. Brian was still there in high school. He actually called him at school.
Oh my gosh.
Because they were looking for one more member. They had the 4 and they needed one more. And he's like, hey, I have a cousin. So he called him at school. They called him out of his history class.
Oh my gosh.
And he was like, hey, you need to come down here. And he got on a plane to Orlando the next day, auditioned and got the spot.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
That's so cool.
I know. So.
And I also never knew they were related.
Yeah, they're cousins.
That's cool.
Yeah. So April 20th, 1993 is the day the Backstreet Boys became an official band. Now, they are called the Backstreet Boys. Do you know why?
I have no idea.
Okay, so you know a little bit about Orlando. So think of the word Backstreet and think in the 90s and think if you can think of anything. I literally know nothing about the Orlando area.
Is it Disney related?
No.
Oh.
Okay, we won't linger.
I don't know.
Lou Perlman decided to call them Backstreet Boys after Orlando's Backstreet Market.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Which he said is an outdoor flea market near International Drive where a lot of teens would hang out.
Okay.
Is that valid? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a real thing.
I'm sure it's a real thing.
I don't know if the teens hang out there anymore. But
well, I mean, back in
place.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
So the lineup on their official day of becoming a band was Nick Carter, who was 13 then. Crazy. That's Cooper. Be Cooper and a boy band, which he could do.
That's not that shocking.
Well, I just think about him also being in the group with the oldest person, who is Kevin, who's 21.
Yeah.
That's a big age jump. Mm-hmm. That's 8 years.
Yeah.
And a whole lifetime, I feel like, from the time you're 13 to 21.
Definitely.
So Nick was 13. AJ McLean was 15. Brian Luttrell was 18, so he was a senior in high school, I guess. Howie Duro was 19, and then Kevin Richardson was 21. So Howie and Kevin were adults. And Brian, I guess, technically was, but, And then you have Nick and AJ.
Yeah.
Which is really a wide age span. So on paper, Lou Perlman actually made himself the 6th member of the band. So he made an equal share of whatever they earned plus whatever he earned as their manager.
Whoa.
So they didn't know this. They were unaware of this at the time, and we'll talk more about that later. Just remember, once we start talking numbers. So the Backstreet Boys often employ polyphonic, is that right? Harmony, which kind of sets them apart from other boy bands that were happening at the time. They're known for a 5-part harmony structure. In order to fight the boy band stereotype and the backlash from the new kids lip singing stuff, they would sing a cappella and harmony anytime they could.
Makes sense.
And I was watching, they came out with a 2015 documentary. I was watching snippets of it. And I'm sure it's like Boys to Men. They've done it so much. It just comes so natural to them to find their notes. Mm-hmm. And I can't stress enough how hard that is. That is so hard. And when people are good at it, it doesn't seem hard. Right. So that was kind of their thing. So they would sing a cappella any chance they could get. And I'll tell you a story about that. Remind me when we get to, when I talk about middle schools.
Okay.
It'll make sense in a second. Brian actually said in an interview in 2011, we were fans of New Kids, but were we really modeled after them? No. We looked at ourselves as Shy, Jodeci, and Boys to Men, the true vocal groups. That's who we listened to, and that's who we really wanted to be like. Right. Problem.
One problem there.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
You look like New Kids on the Block.
I know. Okay. So here's a little bit about their little persona and the parts they sang in the lineup.
Okay.
So Brian, he was like the shy, kind of wholesome church boy. He's a very devout Christian, still is to this day. He was known for a crispy, clear, or kind of airy tone with minimal vibrato, often handling melodic leads and high range parts.
Okay.
So that's him. Then you have Nick. He was a little baby-faced heartthrob. He had kind of a bright pop focus and clean tone that kind of anchored a lot of their popular songs, which is valid. But he often shared leads with Brian. Then you have AJ. He was like the LG. What is that?
The LG.
The LG? The edgy, rebellious one.
Yeah.
He was like the bad boy persona, which he really fed into later and caused some problems. But we'll talk more about that on part 2. So he kind of added the grit and the R&B flair. He handled some of the lower parts of the harmony, or like soulful, like the belted leads. Mm-hmm. That was AJ. Then you had Howie. He was kind of the romantic, like the sweet one. And he does just, like, I was listening to interviews. He just seems so nice.
Yeah.
He just, not that the other ones don't. It's just, his tone of voice is just kind of, it kind of reminds me of you. Like, your voice is like so, like, I can't think of the right word for it.
Which is why I would be Baby Spice.
Right.
So that's a good point about him, because every picture I've ever seen of him, even now, like local publications will do stories about him here and there because he's part of a construction company or whatever, part owner. He's always smiling.
I know. He just
always.
And if you listen to him talk, he just sounds nice. That sounds weird to say, but he just does. Anyway, he was like the romantic sweetheart. He fills in the high harmonies with kind of like a smooth, mellow, sometimes maybe kind of a nasally tone, but not in like an annoying way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Then you have Kevin. He was the oldest, so he kind of was like the mature big brother one. This is Katie's fave. Mm-hmm. He provides like the deepest bass baritone notes.
I was going to say, it's the voice too.
Yeah, true. But see, I like that too,
singers.
but he wasn't for me. It's okay.
That's fair.
Even though he has blue eyes.
Okay.
So interesting. But he kind of adds like the depth, the stability, and he kind of added like the mature sound in there. So that's kind of where they land in the singing parts. So once they're an official group, Lou Perlman like rented this, I said house, but it wasn't really a house. It was a warehouse in Orlando for the group to rehearse in. And they had an intense schedule, just like New Kids did. They converted the warehouse into kind of like this dance/vocal studio. One of the interviews I watched, they were like, it was so hot in there because they were dancing, and then they were singing because of the acoustics. So they would practice all kinds of stuff a cappella to get their harmonies on point. A few weeks after they were an official group, they had their first performance at SeaWorld.
Oh my God. Of all places.
Yeah.
How?
May 8th, they had their first performance at SeaWorld for about 3,000 people.
What?
I know. Crazy.
So does Lou Perlman before this time period have any music industry experience?
Mm-mm.
None at all.
He just has so many connections.
So obviously he had people helping like with the music.
Oh, yeah. He was paying. Oh, what's going?
I don't know.
Sorry, everyone. Hold.
I don't know. That was weird.
We had a very weird announcement from, why did it go through that way?
It went through the headphones.
Oh. Did that pick up on our thing?
Probably.
Okay, sorry. That was a little virus alert. Hopefully we'll survive. Okay. No, but he brought in choreographers. They brought in producers. They brought in vocal coaches. He didn't do any of it. He was just managing it all.
Got it.
Yeah. So that summer, they continued to, they had their appearance at SeaWorld in May. That summer, they kept performing in all kinds of venues in the local area. They performed at malls. They performed in restaurants. They also performed at some high profile like charity galas, which was full of Lou's investors.
Right.
So they were hobnobbing and, you know, impressing people. So they invested more money. Right. And then that fall, they began touring the U.S. To middle schools and high schools.
Wow.
Performing concerts for free there to promote themselves.
Yeah.
While they were at a school in like an inner city area, and I can't remember where they said it was, they were getting booed, like their music was going, you know, they're like these little clean cut kids coming in there.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Nobody's
bebopping.
ever heard of, yeah.
And their sound system died completely. And they were being booed. They're like, get out of here, white boys. Were being yelled at them, even though two of them are not. But you know what I mean? So that was being yelled at them, and their sound died completely. So Brian was like, hey, y'all just tone it down a little bit. Let us do what we came here to do. They gather around the mics, and they sang everything else a cappella. And by the end of it, they were getting hoots and hollers and yippies. So
wow,
that just proves their, I think, vocal abilities.
Yes.
And also good on Brian for being brave enough to be like, hey.
I would have been just like, bye.
Would have been like, I would have, are you kidding? I would have been crying.
Yeah.
Katie and I would have been like, let's run.
How fast can we get out of here?
How can we go?
I mean, that's really brave. So that reminds me, it's giving Donnie Wahlberg.
I know.
Life
except
prison.
I know. Except Brian is very not Donnie.
No,
but,
but how he's kind of like the hype. Like, look.
Well, I don't know if he's the hype guy.
But in that moment, he was
the one that said, let's just. Now, he is a leader in another area coming up.
Okay.
So I will say he's a pretty good advocate for them as a group during this time. So, anyways, so they do that. While they were on that tour, Mercury Records almost signed them. They saw them in like Pennsylvania or something like that. But they had a longtime client by the name of John Mellencamp who told them if they got into the boy band business, he was out.
What?
He was leaving the label. Yeah.
Why do you care, John Mellencamp?
And I mean, obviously, they gonna listen.
That's strange to me, though.
I don't know.
What does them signing the Backstreet Boys have anything to do with your music?
Principles, I guess. I don't know.
Like, honestly, because we research this podcast, I guess I have a little bit of background knowledge on like what labels people are on and stuff. But otherwise, I would have no idea who signed with who.
Right.
That's so weird.
So
I don't like it.
But in 1994, a guy by the name of Jeff Finster, who worked for Zomba/Jive Records, and David Rensner. That just sounds like record industry names. I don't know. Yeah. He also worked for Zomba Music Publishing. They saw them at a high school in Cleveland, and that's where they signed their record deal.
Okay.
So their promo tour worked. All right. Later that year, in December of 94, they actually flew to Sweden to record their debut album because they went there to work with some renowned producers by the name of Max Martin and Deniz Pop. Now, let me tell you how you write this man's name. It's Denniz.
Okay.
Capital P, lowercase o, capital P.
Okay.
Let's go.
Pop.
Let's go. I love that so much. Other clients that they had were Britney and NSYNC. They did Katy Perry later on, Ariana Grande. So they were like big deals in the pop world. So they were kind of known to create like this polished, kind of perfect poppy sound, which is why they flew them there. So they recorded their first single, We've Got It Going On. Do you remember this one?
Yes.
We've got it going on right here. That was sent to the radio in August of 95. Now, I'm going to tell you a lot of dates this episode because it's important to remember how their timeline kind of meshed with their European stuff and American time. So it was sent to the radio everywhere in August of 95 and released as a single in September, but it was not super successful over here. It only got to like number 69 of December that year, which if you think of Backstreet Boys now, it's like, what? But overseas, it was crazy. It was in the top 5 in Germany, Switzerland, Austria, France, and the Netherlands.
Okay.
So they were huge over there first. They actually went on a European tour that summer, and their promotion kind of shifted to having more of a European focus instead of American, because obviously the European music world was like, yay. So they were on tour, and Nick is quoted in an interview as saying this. He said, being so young, I couldn't even go out with the rest of the group. I had to stay in the room with my parents. And I just remember being left out. Some guys went out clubbing, enjoying the Swedish party scene, and then coming to the studio, and I was playing video games with our producers.
Oh, sweet baby. But honestly,
good.
I'm glad to hear that.
Oh, he had plenty of fun later. Don't worry.
As opposed to him trying to be out there as a young child doing any of that.
Oh, he had plenty of fun later on. Don't y'all worry about poor Nick. Okay. So they finished recording the rest of their self-titled debut album, Backstreet Boys, and it was released internationally in May of 96, excluding United States and Canada.
So it went everywhere but here.
Yes. And I'm going to tell you the songs that were on their first release of this album because it changes a bit when it comes on this way. And guess what? Our friend, the parentheses in song titles, is back.
Oh, someone else commented on YouTube. I was reading all our comments today about that.
Yeah, what'd they say?
Our little clip where you're like, why are there so many parentheses? And we're like talking about it. She said, I think it was a she or he said that it could be because there's already a song with that title.
Yeah, but I looked into that. I forgot. Yeah, that's not true.
That's not true?
No, well, I mean, there's not other songs named that. But yes, maybe for some, but as a general consensus, not really.
Okay.
I don't really know why.
So they're back.
They're back, guys. So here were songs on that international debut album. So We've Got It Going On, Anywhere for You, Get Down, parentheses, You're the One for Me. I'll Never Break Your Heart, Quit Playing Games, parentheses, With My Heart. Yep. Boys Will Be Boys, Just to Be Close to You. I Want to Be With You, Every Time I Close My Eyes. Darling, Let's Have a Party, Roll With It, Nobody But You. Now, you may not recognize some of those, and there's a reason, which we'll talk about in a second. Their European popularity was exploding at this time, especially in Germany. They were super popular in Germany. Their single, I'll Never Break Your Heart, reached gold status in Germany at this time. They were voted #1 international group there in 1996.
Wow.
Yep. And they also earned their first platinum record there that same year. And so shortly after that, they started touring Asia and then also Canada. And Howie has said, we would go all over Europe and all these other countries. God bless you.
We should restart that sentence.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Katie had a sneezy. Howie has said we would go all over Europe and all these other countries. We could barely get on the airplane. You would think it was like the Beatles or Michael Jackson, fans going crazy. And then all of a sudden we'd land back in America and it'd be like, chirp, chirp, nobody in the room. Which has got to be so weird.
So weird.
So weird. Like, that's your home country. And like, but I bet that's probably part of their like, that was probably part of their allure was they were American group, right?
Maybe.
They were different. So anyway, so they're having all this success overseas and hardly any here at all. So they started work on their second album together, Backstreet's Back, in October of 96. And it was released internationally, but not in the U.S. in August of 97.
Okay.
It was August 11th, 1997, which is important to note because something will happen in a second, but I've got all this other shit to say. So hold on. They also recorded the song at this time, If You Stay, for the Booty Call soundtrack.
Oh,
it's a fun fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, this isn't on their album, but songs on their second international album that's important is Everybody, parentheses, Backstreet's Back, As Long As You Love Me, All I Have to Give, That's the Way I Like It, 10,000 Promises. I don't know why I'm counting on my hand. I don't know. Like a Child, Hey Mr. DJ, parentheses, keep playing this song. Set Adrift on Memory Bliss, That's What She Said. If You Want It to Be Good Girl, parentheses, Get Yourself a Bad Boy.
Oh, what?
I love that song. We're gonna do a singing medley in a minute. If I Don't Have You. So the second album was released, like I said, August 11th, 97, and it peaked at #1 in Germany, Norway, Switzerland, Finland, and the Netherlands.
Okay.
So that's pretty amazing. And Belgium and Austria. I can't even forget. They sold 5 million copies in Europe alone.
Wow.
Yeah. Or it says over 5 million. They actually won the MTV Select Award at the MTV European Music Awards in 96 and 97. Okay. So again, they're doing well. And the very next day after that album release over there, August 12th, 1997, they had their self-titled U.S. album, Backstreet Boys, released, which combined songs from their first international album and their second.
Okay.
Which is interesting because the first single that they released from that first album release here was everybody parentheses Backstreet's back.
Yeah, that's weird.
Right? Because overseas, it was like, Backstreet's back. All right. Because they're back for their second album. But here it's like, where did you go?
Who are you?
So like, the way they kind of like validated was saying, oh, well, we're back in the U.S. We're back in our home country.
Okay.
So whatever. And it's a jam.
I mean, people love that song. So
all right. So here's the songs that was on their self-titled debut album in the U.S., Backstreet Boys. And we're going to do a medley.
Let's do it.
All right. We've got it going on. We already sang that, right?
Yeah, we already sang that one.
We've got it going on. All right. Okay. Quit playing games. Quit playing games with my heart. With my heart. Okay. As long as you love me. As long as you...
I was going to start at the chorus.
Oh, go ahead.
I don't care who you are.
What you've done.
Don't
no,
care
that's wrong.
What
you did. I messed that up.
Where you were.
As long as you love me. Okay. And
go.
everybody parentheses. Backstreet's back.
Everybody,
yeah, rock your body, yeah. Everybody, rock your body right. Backstreet's back, all right. Okay. The funniest part of that song is, am I original? Yeah. Am I the only one? Yeah. Am I sexual? That's what they do every time they sing that lyric.
Do they really?
I swear to God.
Like a body roll?
It is. It's a body roll thrust.
Oh my goodness.
Every time I see them sing it. Okay. So that song is probably their most well-known song. Yeah. That's like, I think, in my opinion.
Wasn't that one in Napoleon Dynamite? Wasn't that what they did the choreography to?
I don't remember.
I think it was.
I don't know. Okay. So All I Have to Give. Do you remember that one?
Because all my love.
We keep starting at all I have to give. Without you, I don't think I could live. All right.
Yeah, I like that
Man,
one.
I was getting into that.
You were.
Anywhere for You. I don't know that one.
I don't know that one.
Okay, great. Hey, Mr. DJ. Do you remember this one? Parentheses. No. Keep playing this song. Hey, Mr. DJ. Keep playing the song for me.
I don't remember.
Out on the floor. And there's more words. I don't know.
Something that... Look.
Okay.
I'm going to take your word for it.
I'll never break your heart. I'll never break your heart. I'll never make you cry. All right. Then they have Darlin'. I don't know that.
Nope. No idea.
Get Down, parentheses, You're the One for Me. You're the one for me. You're my ecstasy. Oh, no, that's wrong. I said it wrong.
But I know which one you're talking
about. Get down, and move it all around. Get down. I swear to God. Get down and move it all up. All right. That's what it is.
I have to listen to these
Then
later.
they did a mix of Set Adrift on Memory Bliss, that PM Dawn song. Set Adrift on Memory Bliss. You don't know that?
No.
Okay, well. Okay, then their last song on that one is If You Want to Be a Good Girl, parentheses, Get Yourself a Bad Boy. Tell me you remember this one.
I don't know if I do. Maybe if you start singing it.
Well, I'm trying to remember how it goes. If you want to be a good girl, get yourself a bad boy. That's it.
I don't remember that at all.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, I want to listen to it.
I mean, you just heard it. It's perfect.
That's true. I don't need to listen to it. I've heard your version. It's like Danny's version, like Taylor's version.
Oh, Lord, help us all. It would be like a comedy album.
Yes.
Honestly, maybe that's what we need to do is do Danny and Katie's version.
I was also thinking maybe we need to go to Germany.
I know.
Maybe that's what it is.
That's our key.
Go on a little live podcast tour of Germany.
Oh my God.
And be super famous there, and Cricket's here.
Okay. So their first single, Everybody, Backstreet's Back. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry. Parentheses. Let me not leave those out. The video for that single became huge, and that's part of why they blew up. Do you remember their video?
I do remember that
video. So basically in the video, their tour bus breaks down and they have to go in this haunted mansion, and then everybody's a different monster as in their like dreams. Mm-hmm. And then they wake up at the end and it's real or whatever, like a monster comes in or something. It's very Thriller-esque. It's inspired by Thriller. They even throw in like some thriller moves.
Stuff, yeah.
So Brian was the werewolf, Howie was Dracula, Nick was a mummy, AJ was Phantom of the Opera, and Kevin was Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yes.
So that video was so fun. I had to look it up and rewatch it. Their dancing is just so fun.
Well, I was gonna say they're dancing so good.
It's so fun. So this album in the U.S., their self-titled debut here, peaked at number 4.
Okay.
They had lots of radio play, and the success on MTV, most notably from TRL, is how they started to explode. So fun fact, Brian actually met his wife Leanne because she was cast in the video for As Long As You Love Me.
Oh, that's
how they met. And then Kevin's girlfriend at the time, I don't know if it's his wife, but his girlfriend at the time, oh no, who became his wife? I did write that down.
Oh, comma.
You guys don't know. I'm buried in the depths of this research. Yeah, I know.
Who became his wife?
Oh, see? Oh, do y'all know what she just proved?
What?
She can see my notes. She's always like, I can't see that.
Is it in parentheses?
Yes.
I was just making that up.
Oh, it is there.
I was just saying that.
No,
I
it's
can
really
see it now.
okay.
Though, yeah.
Yeah, she's always like, Danny, I can't see that. I'm not cheating. Well, as she just read my notes.
I just saw an opportunity for a little joke.
Well done, because that's actually what was happening. Good on you.
Right.
So his girlfriend at the time, who then became his wife, she was cast in the video for "I'll Never Break Your Heart." So isn't that cute?
That's so cute.
So you want to marry a pop star? Go work in the videos.
I mean, that is a thing.
I know.
That is a thing.
I think she was like a dancer. So yeah. All right. So Backstreet's Back tour began in December of that year of 97 and went through December 98. So it was a full year. They had 113 shows. It was their first major U.S. tour, as well as tour dates that took them back overseas to Europe, Asia, and Canada. So they were busy. During this time, though, in November of 97, doctors discovered that a congenital hole in Brian's heart had enlarged. So they knew he had it, but it had gotten dangerous. Because sometimes you have them and they keep an eye and it's okay. And he had to have open heart surgery.
Oh, my gosh.
So he postponed it. To meet touring obligations, which is crazy. And he's talked about that at the time, how like they never stopped working for like years. And he's like, I had open heart surgery and we didn't even stop the tour. They paused the tour. They didn't even like, they just paused it. They postponed the tour for 2 months. That's it.
Yikes.
2 months. And then, so he had surgery on May 8th, 2 months off, and they were back at it in July.
I mean, on one hand, I'm like, that really sucks that like the machine is that way. But also,
and you have to strike while the iron's hot. Yeah, and that's what they said. You know, teenagers especially.
Yeah.
You're one day.
And pop music taste changes so quickly. Like, you got to get out there and sell it as fast as you can.
Yeah. So they had some other kind of hard times that happened during this little time frame. Kevin had 2 family members pass away.
Jeez.
Howie lost his sister to lupus. And then their producer, Dennis Pop, died of stomach cancer. So there's a lot of stuff happening while they had all this good things, which is kind of how life be.
I know.
It sucks. So here's a fun fact. And I brought some memorabilia.
Which I almost spilled coffee on.
I know. Fucking relics right here. She almost ruined.
I didn't
just kidding.
Almost spill.
Kidding.
My butt hit my coffee. And it went everywhere, but not on the relics.
No, not on the relics.
Thank God.
First-hand accounts. So I saw Backstreet Boys perform at grad night in Walt Disney World on, it was either May 1st or May 2nd. So it was just a few days before his surgery. So it was one of their last concerts before they took a break.
Whoa.
And not only did I find my ticket from grad night, hold please, everyone. Now, grad night was something Disney World used to do. I don't know if they still do it.
I don't know either.
They would close the park for one night, and then they would have different between April and May. They would have different nights, and high schools, seniors from all over the country would have designated times they could come, and you run the park for the whole night. And they bring in pop stars at the time, and you have free concerts. I was trying to look up, in my brain, I thought I remembered Aaliyah being there and Christina Aguilera, but guess what?
No.
That didn't happen, so I don't know what land I was living in. They said, and internet could be wrong, but if anybody was at grad night in 1998, let me know. It said it was Backstreet Boys, and then I don't know, Rhett Atkins.
Okay.
Who is that?
A country singer.
Okay, noted. And then a couple other people, LaBouche.
Okay.
Remember LaBouche?
Yeah.
And then somebody else that I can't remember.
Rhythm
but anyway.
of the Night.
So, that's it. So here's my little ticket, everyone. That's my ticket.
Oh, it's That's so cute.
May of 98. Then I found pictures I took with my disposable camera that are terrible.
Oh.
Okay. They're so bad. I'm going to try. Hold. Okay. So I'll save the good one. So this is the first one I have. I'm going to show it to you. You can see, I think that's AJ with a little dance move. That's some random bitch in front of. Yeah, they're not going to be able to see that. It's okay. But do you see him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cute.
So that's him. Then this is them from far away. I'm not even wasting time showing. Okay.
These are.
Yeah, you can't see. Great. It's heads. But this was my prized photo because I got one of Nick. I got right.
That's a pretty good picture.
I know. I got right through people's heads at the exact right time. And what you guys don't understand about disposable cameras is they suck. Okay. We're so spoiled with our phone cameras.
There's no preview.
There's no preview. It's like you don't know what you get. There's no zooming.
No.
That's why you used to have heads. But I couldn't believe I still had this. And he was like looking right this way. And I snapped it right at the right time. Loved it.
Amazing.
So anyway, so that was me. Right before their little hiatus for just a couple months. So speaking of Brian, during this time, Brian started questioning the band's financial situation because they're fucking doing great. They had all that European success. They're like exploding in the US. So him and I think the band collectively hired an independent auditor to go through their stuff, and they realized their income did not match their fame. And they figured out they kind of had a shady contract where Perlman was acting as both manager and member, unbeknownst to them.
Right.
And he was collecting a higher percentage of the royalties than he was supposed to be. It was also discovered that he was hiding revenue and charging the band for like non-existent fake expenses.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So Brian initiated a lawsuit against Lou Perlman and his company Transcontinental with allegations of mismanaged funds with the band. And eventually the rest of the members joined in, but the band claimed they only made roughly $300,000 from 1993 to 1998. Now, remember all the things I told you they were doing at that time.
$300,000 each.
Yes.
Yeah, that's not that much.
And while Perlman made over $10 million.
Okay.
Right. So the rest of the members joined the lawsuit the next year, and then eventually they settled with him out of court, and they bought him out of their contracts.
Good. But
they still paid him, which sucks.
Yeah, that sucks.
It sucks. So because even though he ended up paying them a settlement, I'm sure he pocketed tons more.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's even more hidden revenue they didn't find.
And that comes years later.
Okay.
This will come back to haunt him.
Good for them to notice that. And I wonder if it was like them or their parents or like.
Well, I mean, Brian, let's see, he was probably 20 at the time or so.
It could have been his family.
Who knows? Or he just could be him.
Just smart guy.
Yeah. So NSYNC also had a part in that. But again, that's going to be Katie's episode. So their legal actions then led to bigger lawsuits a few years later in 2005. And then ultimately all of it together resulted in his 2008 conviction, which he was convicted for conspiracy, money laundering, and false claims. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison, and then he died in jail in 2016.
Okay.
Yeah, it's bad. So done talking about him for now. October 7th, 1998 was declared Backstreet Boys Day by the Orlando mayor.
Yay.
They got keys to the city in honor of a tornado relief concert they did that March. So were you living here at that time?
What year was it?
98.
No.
Okay.
I didn't come till 2007.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So here is something hilarious. Noted. Well, our podcast has an e-version anyway. So in our social clips, if you're young, don't watch this next thing I'm about to show. So on my 18th birthday, which was November 11th, 1998, a lot of my friends in college teased me because I was such a huge boy band fan, and not all of them were. Some of them were, which we'll talk about later. And the night before my birthday, I had a really bad cold and I was not feeling well. And I was asleep in my dorm room really early. They made me a Backstreet Boys cutout cardboard person, but they put the wrong face. They put Brian's face, not Nick's. Okay, but that's okay. And I have to show you, this picture is so stupid. They even hand painted a cucumber and stuck it in the little fake underwear they put on. Okay, you have to see this. It's so stupid.
Hand painted by your friends.
Okay, you ready? Yes. This was waiting for me outside my dorm room.
That's hilarious. What does it say? Am I sexual? Hell yeah. Oh my God. Oh yeah, that is Brian.
Yeah. Let me see. Hold on. I'll get closer. Closer. Look at that.
Oh my God, that's
I don't
so...
even know if y'all can see that.
Because it blends in. I could see it.
That was me in college too. Yay. Okay, so...
That's so funny.
I forgot about that. And I was like, yeah, they were great. So thanks, friends. Anyway, so we are in the fall of 98. That month, they started recording their third studio album, which probably was their biggest seller, was Millennium. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The first single, I Want It That Way, was released in April of 99. And this is one of their most commercially successful songs. And this, they said, a lot of different places said it's considered their signature song. I would have said Backstreet's Back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this one is good.
I know
and
it
now
is.
You get a lot of like remixes of it in online and reels and stuff like that. Yeah.
That's what we sang in the intro, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So y'all already heard some of that. We won't do it again. Sorry. So this single actually topped the charts in 25 countries.
Wow.
That one song. So fun fact, you're going to love this as a Britney superfan. Every version of Britney Spears' debut album, Baby One More Time, that was released right before Millennium. Mm-hmm. Okay. It was released before Millennium. Had previews of 3 songs of theirs as hidden tracks placed at the end of the album.
Oh, that's fun.
Now, she didn't want to do this. She didn't want to do it, but their record label made the decision for her and forced her to do it. She even like says a little thing like, "Hey guys, I'm going to introduce you to my friends, the Backstreet Boys," or whatever, something like that. And then so that happened. And years later in 2020, they officially collaborated together, Britney and the Backstreet Boys, on the song Matches on the deluxe reissue of her album Glory. Mm-hmm. Did you know that?
Yep.
I didn't even know that song. I had to look it up and listen to it.
It's pretty good.
I was like, I don't remember that because I'm not a Britney super fan. So listen. All right. Backstreet Boys album Millennium was released on May 18th, 1999. And the day it was released, they made a hugely publicized appearance on TRL.
Yay.
And oh my God, watching clips from this is hysterical. Did you watch them?
Yes.
Oh my God, the girls are freaking out. And they won't stop screaming to the point where Kevin is like, "Hey, we're going to be here for 3 hours. Y'all need to relax. Like, we've got to say, like, y'all save it." Like,
right.
He was nice, but like, I get it. So, they also, a few days before that, had appeared on SNL. And they sang a couple songs, one of which was a cappella.
Wow.
Smart. But brave.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also, that week, while in New York, they filmed a Disney Channel special called Backstreet Boys in Concert.
I don't remember that, but that adds up.
I was watching clips from it, and it's so 90s, like late 90s, early 2000s Disney. It was fun to watch. Okay. So the second single they released from this album was Larger Than Life in September. Show Me the Meaning of Being Lonely. We say what songs were on this? I didn't list them. How dare I?
Yeah, not all of them.
I didn't. Okay, well, we may have, pull it up on your Apple Music or Spotify. Okay. Because how did I not list those songs? Well, anyways, I'll keep chatting while you look that up. So Larger Than Life was second single. Show Me the Meaning of Being Lonely was the third. And The One was the fourth and final single album of the album that was released in May of 2000. And that actually had a little fun drama. So pause so I can tell you this.
Okay. I'm ready.
So the Backstreet Boys actually held a fan vote on TRL. Do you remember this?
I actually do have a memory of this.
So they wanted the fans to choose their last single they were going to release from this album. And they could pick between 2 of them. It was Don't Want You Back or The One. Don't Want You Back was in the lead by a lot until Nick was on there and started pulling for The One to be released. And once he did that, everybody voted for The One, and that's what came out.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of drama there.
I love that, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what was on it. Larger Than Life.
Yeah.
I Want It That Way.
Did we sing Larger Than Life yet?
I don't think we did.
All you people, can't you see how your love's affecting our reality? Every time you're down, you can make it right, and that makes you larger than life.
Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun. That's the one in Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh, you're right.
Because the dun, 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 that's, yeah.
I'll be running high when you're screaming. All right, sorry.
I love that song. I Want It That Way, which we sang.
We sang.
Show me the meaning of being lonely.
Show me the meaning of being lonely. Why would you want that, though? Like, I don't want you to tell me. I don't want to know how it feels to be lonely. Okay, go ahead.
Sounds terrible. It's Gotta Be You.
I don't know that
I don't
one.
know that one. I Need You Tonight.
Don't know that one either.
Nope. Don't Want You Back. Don't Want You Back? I don't know that one. Don't Want to Lose You Now.
Wow, we don't know a lot of these.
The One.
How does the one go? Play it.
Play it.
Because I'll be the one.
That's right.
That's right. Okay.
Who will make all your something, something. I'll be the light.
I'll be the light. Yes. Okay.
Okay. Back to Your Heart.
Okay.
I don't know
Don't.
if I know that one. Spanish Eyes. No One Else Comes Close. And The Perfect Fan.
Oh, that's about their moms.
Oh, I remember that one.
It makes me
I remember
cry.
the video for that one, too.
Oh, yeah.
That one's really good.
I cry. Okay.
Aw, they're so
so
sweet.
that's that album.
And I mean, look at this album cover.
I know.
Come on.
It's iconic.
So good.
Iconic. So that album entered the Billboard 200 chart at number 1, sold over 1 million copies
Wow.
the first week.
Dang.
Yeah. So it was the best selling album of 99, remained on the charts for 93 weeks, eventually selling over 12 million copies in the US, being certified platinum 13 times.
Jeez.
Holy bagoli. As of 2023, it was the 6th best-selling album ever in the US.
Wow.
Now, I don't know if it's changed since then. That was 3 years ago. But
23, yeah. Okay.
so January 99, they were nominated for a Grammy for Best New Artist. I don't think they won, but they won Music Video of the Year at Teen Choice Awards for All I Have to Give, Favorite Song at Nickelodeon's Kids' Choice for Everybody.
Of course.
Parentheses, Backstreet's Back. I gotta say them. I just want to leave them out. And then favorite pop rock band or group at the American Music Awards. So this was like the height of their success.
That's, yeah.
This album. They're having a grand time.
They really are.
A grand time. At the year's end, Backstreet Boys dominates the 1999 Billboard Music Awards. They won Artist of the Year, Album of the Year, Album Artist of the Year, and Album Artist Duo Group of the Year.
Jeez.
Them fuckers swept.
Yeah, they're like, we're here. We're taking them all.
They swept. Okay. So the album's tour, which Katie and I both went to, Into the Millennium Tour, started on June 2nd, 99 and ended on March 15th, 2000. They had 123 shows in 84 cities spanning 3 legs. So here's my story associated. I waited in line for tickets in August in South Louisiana overnight outside a mall for 19 hours.
Jeez.
To buy these fucking tickets for a hand. I was going to buy I think you could buy like 5 or something. And so I bought the max amount because I had some friends who wanted to go. And I was like, y'all better pay me back because this is going on a credit card that I had barely like.
Right.
So, but I was the only one who lived there because I was at home for the summer and working. And it was so hot. Like, you guys, August in Louisiana, anywhere in the South, miserable. And I remember there was a McDonald's down the street. So you had to like make friends with people around you.
Yeah.
So you could leave and go to the bathroom and come back. And, yeah, it was crazy. And I was a smoker at the time, and I don't even know how many cigarettes I smoked while I was sitting there. It's disgusting.
Oh my
disgusting. And I was sweaty and disgusting. And I got the tickets when they opened in the morning at like 10 or whatever. Went home, showered, went to work, no sleep. It was ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
I know. So the tickets for that tour went on sale August 14th, 1999. They sold out that day, all their dates,
Wow.
all their US dates.
So my friend's mom had tickets somehow.
Probably
So I don't know
waiting
if
in
she
line.
waited in line or got them through work or what, but that's how I got to go. 'Cause
Nice.
I want to say she had 5 because it was
Yeah,
like
I think you can buy 5.
and then 4 of us girls.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got to go.
Well, let me tell you, people, waiting in line for tickets like that is so stressful because, number one, the whole fucking nation is buying tickets just like online, but you are physically there. And depending on how fast the worker is, Depends on what seats are available.
Right.
So you can't even, nothing, you can do nothing. Even on their internet, like whatever, you can't do anything. But I feel like it's so much more fair when like you're actually there in line waiting, and then you don't know, like you don't get to say whatever. You just say, give me the best seats you have. That's it. And I had shitty seats, but whatever. We still went. They were crappy seats. We had fun. I had my ticket. Aww. You want to guess how much it was, guys?
I'm gonna guess 35.
You're close. So, this ticket was $38.50.
Okay.
The convenience charge was $4.75. Ticket was bought, like I said, August 14th, 1999, and the concert was November 20th of 1999. Okay. So it wasn't too long after that. And that Sears was the sponsor of this tour, and it says Sears Presents.
Sears, wow.
Yeah. And my sister said the Dillards had the Ticket Master window in our mall, but I swear it was not that. I think it was Mervyn's. Or JCPenney, but it doesn't matter. Whatever. I was in a mall parking lot. So our seats were crappy. We're in the upper level, section 305. Like they were not good, but who cares?
That's pretty cool though.
We were there.
Yeah.
We were there. And so
we were at the same concert. Well, not the same concert, but the same tour.
The same tour.
Long before we knew each other.
Isn't that so funny?
Do you remember the part where Kevin sat down at the piano and played?
Yes.
That big white grand piano?
Yes.
That was amazing.
It was so amazing. So that tour was hugely successful. It actually, the concert they did at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta was the 5th most attended concert in American history.
Jeez.
Crazy. Now, I have a feeling maybe Taylor Swift has changed that.
Probably.
Yeah. But in 2023, when I found the research that this was
right, because Eras was after that.
Right. So that might be a little skewed, but still. So in 99, the Backstreet Boys were getting really fed up. And while they had issues with Lou Perlman, they still were with Jive Records. Okay. And they were getting kind of fed up with them. They threatened to leave the label because they felt like they still had kind of a heavily one-sided deal where they were not receiving their fair share of profits. At this point, they were one of the label's biggest moneymakers, and they didn't feel like they were being accurately compensated. So they threatened to leave. They ended up staying with the label after they were offered a $60 million settlement and 20% royalties.
Oh, my God.
Which is a big number.
That's huge.
Yeah. So they were like, okay.
They're like, well, I guess we're not that mad anymore.
Right. So again, we're still at the height of their fame here. Here's the awards they received in 2000. Best Group at MTV Europe Music Awards. Favorite Pop Rock Band, Duo or Group at American Music Awards. Best-Selling Album at the Juno Awards for Millennium. Favorite Musical Group at People's Choice Awards. And Choice Album at the Teen Choice Awards for Millennium. So they're still sweeping it. In May 2000, the group took a trip to the Bahamas to write songs for their new album.
Oh, sure.
Probably, it's like, oh, it's a business expense, but whatever. So their 4th album, Black and Blue. Then they wrote the songs in Bahamas, then they started recording them in Sweden. They went back to Sweden to do that. And they finished up that fall. So fall of 21, I guess. Or is that wrong?
2001.
Was it 21? Yeah.
Sounds right.
Yeah. So also, during this time span, they had a limited edition release, and this is hilarious. It was called For the Fans. It was exclusive limited collection of 3 separate enhanced music CDs. We'll talk about that in a second. And a VHS tape from the Backstreet Boys at Burger King. Okay. The music CDs were and the VHS were only distributed at Burger King.
Okay.
With the purchase of any value meal.
That's hilarious.
And that was in August of 2000. Okay. Yep. August of 2000. I think I wrote the dates wrong because yes. So it wasn't 2001. It was 2000. Okay. I think it was May of 99 then when they took that. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Somewhere around there.
Somewhere. I think I just wrote the year wrong. So yes. And they also even had Backstreet Boys Happy Meal toys at the time.
Really?
I can't.
Not Happy Meal. Burger King ones.
Well, whatever the Happy Meal is at Burger King is.
Yeah, kids meal.
Whatever.
Well, I just wanted Happy Meals McDonald's.
Okay. Whatever. Burger King's version of a Happy Meal.
There you go.
Yeah, whatever video they had where they were dressed like a superheroes. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, well, that's what they were.
Okay, got it.
And
that was the toy.
yes. So let's talk about what an enhanced music CD was.
Okay.
So a music CD that was enhanced was one that you could listen to on a CD player or put into your CD-ROM.
Oh.
Yes. And have all these special things on the CD-ROM. So with these, the CD-ROM unlocked a whole new world of additional content, is how the advertisement said. It had a special screensaver. You remember when that was a big deal? A compatibility quiz of who you were compatible with.
That's cute.
It had a special wallpaper, a scrapbook generator, and then links to all the Backstreet Boys websites.
Okay.
So, yeah, I forgot about enhanced CDs.
Yeah. So depending how young you are, a CD-ROM,
right? Oh, shoot, we gotta explain that.
Little. They don't even come really in laptops or desktops anymore.
No.
But you would push a little button, and a CD size would shoot out, and you'd put it in like it was a CD player, but it would show things on your computer. So sometimes it would have a game, or you could like save things to it. I remember
it was like a floppy disk.
Yeah.
They don't know if you don't know what a CD-ROM is, you really fucking don't know what.
And they're really. It's
what we had before thumb drives.
But it's cool that you could just listen to it normal,
right?
Or you
as
could
well.
put that in.
It was a special treat.
Yeah,
special treat.
Only at Burger King.
Only at Burger King. All right, so have it your way. All right, we'll sponsor us. That's fine.
That's fine.
All right.
I actually love Burger King. Do you like Burger King?
No.
Oh, well, you just asked them to sponsor us.
So?
I actually love their burgers.
You like their hamburgers? Mm-hmm. Okay. Because they're flame broiled?
I think so.
Okay. Well, look, we're advertising for you.
There we go.
I am not a huge, I love French fries. I do like their French fries. They're good.
Okay.
I'm a French fry like whore in the fact that that's all I care about when I go to fast food restaurants. Like Chick-fil-A's are the worst.
The waffle ones?
They're fucking bland. They're so bland and gross. And I don't want to be sponsored by Chick-fil-A because y'all be a problem company.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Now, like, they're lining up. They're lining up to sponsor us.
Darn. They've got their heads hung low.
All right. So their next album, now we're getting the years straight again. I fucked them all up, but it's fine. Here we are. The album Black and Blue was released November 21st, 2000.
Okay.
This album was a little different than the others. And I don't know if you remember this. I was listening to it yesterday. And I remember when I bought it, I was so excited, and then I didn't like it as much because they wanted to have a different, more mature kind of R&B sound. So it's a lot of slow songs.
Okay.
There were not a whole lot of poppy ones, except for this one called The Call.
Yes.
You remember that one? And we'll talk about that one in a minute. So everybody was excited about this album, and it sold 1.6 million discs in the first week. It made them the first artist since the Beatles to achieve back-to-back million-plus sales in the first week. So it happened with their last album and then their second. It's crazy, right?
That's wild.
To promote this release, they traveled around the world in 100 hours.
What?
Wait, is that right? That can't be right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it said,
it's possible.
because it says they visited Stockholm, Tokyo, Sydney, Cape Town, Rio de Janeiro, and New York. 55 hours were spent traveling. 45 were spent making public appearances.
That's wild.
That's fucking crazy.
That is some promotion right there.
Yeah. So a DVD of this short tour was released in 2001 titled Around the World. They look so tired. They're so excited, but they look so tired. Yeah. So songs from this album, like we said, The Call, Shape of My Heart.
Oh, I love that song.
Yeah, remember that song? Mm-hmm. Get Another Boyfriend, Shining Star. I'm counting on my hand. I don't know why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I Promise You, parentheses, They Didn't Leave Us, With Everything I Am. Oh, wait, let me re-say that title because I don't want you to think it was They Didn't Leave Us, but it was in parentheses. The name of that song is properly I Promise You, parentheses, With Everything I Am. Okay. The Answer to Our Life, Everyone, More Than That, Time, Not For Me, Yes I Will, It's True, How Did I Fall in Love With You? So it's a lot of slow like ballads. Mm-hmm. They do sound like older songs, but I remember being so disappointed.
Yeah. It's so hard.
I know. I mean, I get
feel
it.
like as an artist, you do want to evolve and you do want to do different stuff, but your fan base, like your previous album or whatever, did so well because of the type of music that was on it.
I know. Yeah. And I still have both of these CDs that I had bought from the store. the first single they came out with was Shape of My Heart.
Yeah.
Do you remember how that one goes?
Now let me show you the shape of
Is that the one that goes, looking back on the things I've done? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I like that one.
Then The Call was that one was so funny because it was like he's like on a cell phone talking. Listen, baby, I'm sorry. Yeah. And it's all about this dude cheating on his girlfriend.
Yes.
It's
so silly. I remember the video for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta go. Remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to a place nearby. I gotta go. All right. Anyways, what was the other one I said? Booty, booty, booty. Okay. First single was Shape My Heart, then The Call, then More Than That.
I don't know if I remember that one. Maybe I'd know it if More Than That.
More Than That.
More Than That. Oh, no idea.
Well, we've done really well so far. So,
really well.
Okay.
I could look it up.
The band members wrote 2 songs on this album, and then they co-wrote 5. So this was more than they had done on previous albums. So
okay, that's pretty good.
So, what are you doing?
I was just going to look it up. More Than That?
Yeah. I think it says on the
Backstreet Boys.
I Can Love You More Than That. Is that right?
Oh my God, it's so slow. Oh, chimes. Here come the chimes.
She's been crying. I remember it now. Go fast forward a little to the chorus. Here it comes. Here it comes, everybody.
Okay.
Oh, I can love. That's the part. Here it comes. Now I remember.
Here it comes.
Oh, I can love you more than that. Yeah. Now I remember.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good song.
All right.
I like that
So, moving on, in January of 2001, they performed the national anthem at the Super Bowl in Tampa.
Okay.
Look at that. A week earlier, they had started their Black and Blue tour, which featured shows in 5 continents. It was put on hold in July when AJ had to enter rehab.
Oh, AJ.
Yeah, Kevin actually was the one who led an intervention for him.
Okay.
Like, he didn't show up for a rehearsal or something. They actually broke into his house and he locked himself in a room. It was bad. But AJ says to this day, if it wasn't for Kevin and the other band members confronting him, he wouldn't have gone. So he went to rehab, got sober. And then the tour resumed in August, concluded in November, which I have to say, as being close to several people who, had to go through a journey like that, I can't imagine being on tour where all your vices are met, right? Mm-hmm. Going to rehab, getting clean, and then re-entering the exact same scene.
That's rough.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people live in a halfway house when you come out of rehab to kind of slowly integrate. It's kind of like when when you get out of jail, sometimes you're in a to help that transition.
Right. Because I mean, I don't know for sure, but isn't that one thing they kind of talk about is avoiding the environments that feed?
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound 100%. Like the other band members were feeding that, but the lifestyle. And the triggers are there.
Yes. And he was drinking, he was doing drugs. Yeah. It was lots of things.
Yeah.
So they got back on tour. They stopped in November of that year of 2001. And then that fall in October, they released their first compilation album called The Hits Chapter 1. They never had a Chapter 2.
Oh.
But it was a little early for a hits album.
Yeah, it seems strange.
And I won't go over all the songs. We've already talked about them. But it was, it features 15 songs of their big hits so far. And then they had one new song called Drowning. The hits debuted and peaked at number 4 on the Billboard 200 with only 197,000 copies, which is a lot. It was kind of skimpy compared to their other sales.
Yeah. But with Boys to Men, they kept doing that too.
I know.
Remember? They had
yes.
And now there's a hits album, even though they've only had 2 albums or whatever it was. Yeah.
Right. So the band itself wasn't ready to put out a greatest hits album. They were like, we don't want to do this yet, because what they wanted to do was to release it in 2003 on their 10th anniversary of becoming a group. Because they were a group in April 93.
Yeah.
So they were like, well, we want to do that on our 10-year anniversary, which I think probably would have been better.
Yeah.
But Jive Records said, no, we're doing it anyway.
And from a marketing perspective, it would have been better. But again, the record company's just trying to sell your popularity in the moment.
I know.
So
back to some more legal things. 2002, we arrive, and the group is ready to leave their management company, the firm, and their record label, Jive Records. However, at this time, Nick was working with them on managing his solo career as well. Backstreet Boys ended up in a legal battle with Zomba Music Group. That is Jive Records' parent company, so that's just the legal whatever. They said that Zomba purposely stalled approving songs for their fourth album, the one that they were going to do after Black and Blue, to avoid paying a contractual $5 million advance. And instead of doing that, they pushed Nick Carter's solo album, Now or Never, at the expense of the band. So they felt like they were being pushed to the side after they already had an agreement because they wanted to promote Nick instead.
And not pay out $500 million.
Correct. And actually, ironically, Nick was part of the group lawsuit.
I was going to say, I wonder how Nick felt about that.
He was part of it.
It sounds like he didn't like that.
Right.
Oh, wait, the group lawsuit meaning with the band. He was with the band.
Even though it was about his solo career.
Right. Well,
so it's interesting.
Right.
Because really, no matter what happens, he gonna benefit.
True.
I don't know. So anyway, so they sought over $75 million in damages plus another $20 to $25 million. And then they wanted to end their contract with Jive Records. And at this time, they were still involved in legal stuff with Lou Perlman. Because remember, like I said, all that
2008.
Yeah. So they had a lot of crap going on. So they reached some type of settlement. I couldn't find the exact details. And then after a couple years hiatus, the group actually reconciled with the label for their comeback album. What?
Yeah.
I mean, it's business. Whatever.
It is.
So they had a couple year hiatus, and during this time, in November 2003, AJ actually went on Oprah. Did you watch a clip of that at all?
Yes.
Okay. He went on Oprah to talk about his recovery journey. He had relapsed and then went back to rehab in 2002, which is pretty common. I can think of the addicts I know that most of them have gone to rehab more than once because it's hard. I mean, like, this is like a really lame in comparison, but I think about when I was a smoker. I had to like quit probably 3 or 4 times before it stuck.
I mean, that's true of any habit,
Sure.
even ones that aren't addicting, right? Like anything, whether it's good you're trying to do, like working out or whatever, or if you're trying to stop, doing something, even if it's like a mindset shift. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I'm going to be more positive. I'm going to be more grateful. Like you don't get it right on the first try.
No. And
you have to keep at it.
And the brain chemistry stuff with addictive personalities is a whole thing. So
Definitely.
it's really tricky. So anyways, so while he was there on Oprah, the rest of the Backstreet Boys showed up as a surprise.
Oh.
And they wanted to show up and give their support and kind of tell their story with him. And that was the first time they had been seen in public together in a while. So after that, they began to kind of reform, and they said, okay, let's work on a comeback album like this upcoming year. So January 2004, they started working on a comeback album called Never Gone. The first single, Incomplete. Do you remember that song? Incomplete. And listening to it now, knowing AJ's journey before that makes it really like, go listen to that song.
Very emotional.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It was released on the radio March 28th of 2005, and then they started their Up Close and Personal tour that same month. The full album came out that summer in June and debuted at number 3. So it was better than the album before. But again, it was a drastic style pivot. It kind of avoided their pop sound completely and kind of focused more on the pop rock, like adult contemporary sound. They were older. They were doing something different, but I felt like it worked better on this album than their little shift for the last one.
Yeah.
And it was their first album to incorporate live instrumentation throughout. So, because like they had electronics, like soundboard stuff, and this one had live drums, live guitar, that kind of stuff on the album. And they hadn't done an album together in 4 years. So it was kind of a big deal. So they started tour that summer, July 22nd, and then ended, the year 200. I left off a number, guys. It's 2005.
That makes sense.
And then they concluded their tour in February 2006 in Australia. But in June of that year, Kevin announced he was leaving the group to, do you remember when he was gone for a while?
Yeah.
Okay. And it was amicable. He said he was just ready. You know, he was the oldest. So he was older at this time. He's like, I'm a grown ass man in a boy band. What am I doing? And he was ready to kind of do some other things. He had like this whole letter they put on their website. The group said the door is always open and we're not going to replace you. In fact, they turned down an offer for a reality show that was going to have a contest to be the new fifth member. And they said, no, we're not going to replace him. It's just going to be the four of us.
I'm glad they did that.
Cause like you got to think how hard they worked. And then it's like, it's not the same. Not that there's anything wrong with replacing a member.
What is it? Like Queen has replaced members. Journey has replaced members. I think there's a difference between like finding someone that's a good fit and holding a reality competition.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
it's different. Like Adam Lambert is great. They found him because he performed with them on American Idol and they were like, shit.
But that's that's organic.
Right. That's what I mean.
Because it's like, oh, this actually works.
Right. That's what I mean. Yeah. So 2 days after Kevin announced his departure, the remaining four started recording their sixth album, Unbreakable. So they filmed it with just the four of them. It debuted in October 2007, and then they had a worldwide tour. These fuckers tour. Like, they do not play. 2 years later, in October of 2009, they released another album. I got kind of tired with my research at this point. I'm going to be real.
That's okay.
And it was called This Is Us. They had another tour that lasted a whole other year and had 123 shows.
Jeez.
The reason I like to say you're a numbers girly.
Yeah.
But I also think it's important to show like they worked.
Yeah.
Like they ain't playing.
123 is so many.
Listen, we be crying. We have 4 shows in a weekend.
We're like, this show I'm in is going to do 16 performances over a month. Exhausted.
But also, if we were paid to do it, it'd be different.
Totally.
Because we're also doing that show while we have a whole full life.
And a tour is a huge moneymaker.
Oh, absolutely.
Between the tickets, the merch, then people continue to buy your music more. Yeah. Like, it's...
Literally.
There's a reason. I don't even know how many Taylor Swift did in a year with Eras. I'm sure it was more than that.
Who knows?
And, like... She doesn't need the money, but like the amount of money just for that, I know, is unbelievable.
It's crazy. So during this time, Backstreet Boys had a cruise. Remember how we talked about New Kids on the Block cruise
and Boys to Men?
Oh yeah, and Boys to Men. So this was like a thing. So they started in December 2010. It was a fan exclusive full ship charter event. It had concerts, themed parties, and close fan interaction.
Nice.
They partnered with Carnival and Royal Caribbean for this. They had theme nights, group activities, and also like rare opportunity for fans to interact with all 5 of them. Now, I guess they got Kevin mixed in on that because he would still kind of come in and out of things. So every now and then he'd pop up for,
he's like, cruise, I'm there.
Okay, so the Backstreet Boys cruises continued until 2018. So in May of 2011, they finally left Jive Records.
Wow.
Took them that long. And they also announced they were going to go on a joint tour with New Kids on the Block called NKOTBSB.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yep. I was there, guys. I talked about this on the New Kids episode. And I have some pictures.
Oh,
on my phone. Prior to the tour, they actually released a compilation album with the New Kids that had some of their collective biggest hits, New Kids and Backstreet, and then they had some mashups they did together, and then all of that. It's really good. Go listen to it.
Okay.
So the tour started in May of 2011 and lasted until June of 2012. And they had 80 shows in North America, Europe, Australia, and Asia. So this is the one, if y'all listen to our New Kids episode, my sister and I went in Kansas City. I had bought her tickets for her birthday that year, and we were determined to have good seats because y'all heard my story about how they were like ants. I think my sister said that. We had the best seats, and I showed y'all pictures last time of Donnie being right behind us. You ready for the Backstreet?
I'm ready.
Okay, hold. Well, fuck. This was the first picture I got.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Of them entering.
It is giving Millennium album cover.
Oh, there we go.
I love it.
Then, here they are right in front of us. Hold. Oh.
Wow.
I know.
Those are.
I know.
That's such good seats.
And, don't you worry, this is my favorite one. This is when they sang Backstreet's Back.
Wow. Look at Howie.
I know.
Getting down with his bad self.
Get down. I think there was one more. Oh, we had a picture. I think they were like all starting to come on stage together. Me and my sister.
Oh.
We were like, let's take a picture. Can y'all see him right behind us?
Yeah.
We were like, let's take a picture to show that we are actually close.
Right.
Because this is when I think 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is them all together. They were coming on all together.
That's so great.
And so anyway, I had to show these pictures. So I will say smart marketing, because two groups, maybe two different generations, because think about my sister who's Gen X, and then we're in between, and then you get some millennials too.
Right.
So you get a whole broad span of people. So they did that tour, and it was pretty successful. And I forgot to mention this about Kevin earlier, but since his 2006 departure, Kevin would occasionally have cameos at performances and concerts and stuff. He didn't officially rejoin until spring of 2012. So I think he was in some of the concerts at the end of this one. I can't remember if he was there or not. I don't think he was.
That wasn't him in any of those pictures?
I don't think so. I was trying to zoom because the one I showed you was just 4 people.
I thought the last one you showed me was 5.
But Backstreet Boys was coming on with them.
Right.
So I can't remember.
Okay. Is he in that picture?
Well, see, there's Jordan, Joey, and then you had Backstreet.
Where's the
1, 2, 3.
One?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to look for. So he may have been there, and he may not have.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's only 4 of them.
4.
And then
that's. 4?
But I think that might be. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. I think they were
New
all
Kids
on
are
stage.
there too.
So I think it was just the 4 of them when we saw. So anyway, neither here nor there. But he's
back.
He came back in spring of 2012, and the first single they released with all 5 of their vocals again was a Christmas song.
Yay.
And it was called It's Christmas Time Again. It premiered on AOL Music, everybody.
Get out of here.
Yep. They celebrated their 20th anniversary on April 20th. 2013. They had a big fan celebration, and then they received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame 2 days later. And then it was declared Backstreet Boys Day in Hollywood. So they have several in lots of different cities. May 2013, the group started another tour called In a World Like This. It lasted over 2 years. They had 170 shows in multiple continents. Their first album released under their own independent music label called K-Bon, which is capital K hyphen capital B, capital A, capital H, capital N. Do you know why it's called that?
It's their initials.
It's their name.
Which is better than just their names, which is what Boyz II Men did.
Yes. And it was, the title of their album was In a World Like This. So it came out in June 25th, 2013. Here's a fun little movie fact, a couple of them for you. Backstreet Boys made a cameo in the movie This Is the End. Have you seen this one? It has Seth Rogen and
no.
the guy from The Office who is the janitor. I forget his name. It's so funny, and I forgot they were in it. They're like in heaven, and they play a fictionalized version of themselves, and they perform everybody. Parentheses, Backstreet's Back. I sent you the clip, so go look at it later.
I will.
They also released a documentary movie titled Backstreet Boys, Show 'Em What You're Made Of, in theaters in January of 2015. It's on Amazon Prime for free. I have been watching little bits of it because I didn't realize that it was a thing until I was finishing up my research yesterday. And I don't have time, guys. You know how it be.
Look. I'd be doing it at 4 a.m.
I know.
Today.
It's
and
like,
will be.
Listen, I cannot get up at 4 a.m. when I don't get home from rehearsal till midnight.
Like, I'd be doing it day of sometimes.
I know.
Yeah.
So we just do the best we can.
Yes, we do.
But I was watching bits of it, and it's really pretty good. Mm-hmm. They filmed it. It's really about their entire career journey up to the making of this album that we're talking about right now. And it was interesting watching their process. And I'm going to go into more of it when I get into the members' research. But Brian was having some vocal problems at the time, kind of some vocal paralysis, but it was like a mind-body thing. But it was weird because they got into this big fight because nobody really wanted to talk about it. And Nick was getting all mad. That was just one part of the movie. But they went back to all their childhood homes.
Aww.
It was good. I was like, this is a really interesting documentary. So I recommend it. Anyway, Also, during this time in August of 2015, Howie, AJ, and Nick filmed a sci-fi network movie that Nick wrote called Dead Seven. And it was about a ragtag band of gunslingers operating during a post-apocalypse zombie plague.
What is happening?
I know.
Love it, though.
I know.
That's so creative.
Yeah, that was on my list of things to look up, and I ran out of time, so I will do that for the next one. They had a Vegas residency at Planet Hollywood from March 1st, 2017 to April 27th, 2019. They got a key to that city too, y'all. And another Backstreet Boys day was declared.
My goodness.
So all the Backstreet Boys days,
go
every
to
city.
a city any day.
Yeah.
And it will be Backstreet Boys.
I know.
Pick
a city. Their ninth studio album was titled DNA, and it came out in January 2019. They were supposed to have a tour that May, but then they eventually had to postpone most of it because of the pandemic in 2020. So April 2019, they actually opened an exhibit at the Grammy Museum, which had like various outfits from their tours and concerts and childhood memorabilia. I mean,
we saw that with the New Kids on the Block, especially. People were very obsessed with like.
I mean, I would go see that.
Their homes, their families, where they went to school. If there was a lunchbox to be had, people would probably want to see that. Like,
well, because it makes them more human, I think.
And I mean, that goes way back. Like,
it does.
Even Elvis. Like,
sure. Listen, I've been to Graceland. Mm-hmm. It's fascinating, and I want to go back. Yeah. You're right. Oops. Sorry. Okay. That's my husband.
It's Troy. Hi, Troy.
Sorry. So I sent him the video of me busting my ass in rehearsal last night.
I'm sure he has a comment about that.
The funniest thing is, that's just, of course.
It's fine.
Of course, you tell Danny to be a princess just for like 5 seconds, and I bust my ass and fall on my face. Hey. That's where we are. So October 2022, they came out with their first Christmas album, even though they had that Christmas song before. And it was called A Very Backstreet Christmas. It's so cute. The first 2 singles they released did very well, but I don't remember them.
What are they?
Last Christmas and then Christmas in New York.
I think I've heard both of them, but...
Yeah, but however... Due to sexual assault allegations against Nick Carter, many of the publicity appearances during that time and interviews were canceled.
Yikes.
We'll go into more of that when we get to part 2.
Okay.
I haven't researched it yet at all. December of 24, they performed at the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree lighting live on NBC, and I remember watching that. February 2025, they announced a residency titled Into the Millennium. I don't know why. At the Sphere in Las Vegas. They kept releasing expanded dates. Extended dates.
Okay.
Then they also released an expanded version of their Millennium album called Millennium 2.0.
Fun.
They came out with that last summer to celebrate its 25th anniversary. If you want to feel old, they have one new single on there called Hey, and it's fun. So go listen to it. Since their second and successful, which matters, commercial on the Super Bowl. Did you see it this year as a T-Mobile commercial?
Yes.
People are like crying and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Back in February, the band has said that they want to do the Super Bowl halftime show this year.
Oh.
This upcoming year. Now, will it happen? I don't know.
I thought they already picked someone for the Super Bowl.
They probably did, but they said they want to do it. Okay. So anyway, they did a Super Bowl commercial in 2019 with Chance the Rapper for Doritos.
Yeah.
And it was awful, and it got horrible feedback.
I don't remember that one, but isn't there the one where they're in the picture frame and she's doing her laundry? It's probably Gina.
Okay.
And she's doing her laundry.
Oh, yeah.
And
they've done several.
Like,
they've done several commercials. Yes, but I'm just talking about Super Bowl commercials.
And then she quotes NSYNC, and they're like,
wrong group. Yeah. That's for Febreze. Is it Febreze or Downy or something?
I think it was Downy.
Something.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that brings us to the end. Wow. There was still way more. You will see why it's so hard to do these group researches because there's so much there. Mm-hmm. And you can't really leave stuff out.
I know.
And then we still leave stuff out. But you can actually see Backstreet Boys in concert currently on selected dates at the Sphere in Vegas. So now I'm like, well, maybe we need to go see New Kids and Backstreet if they're both there at the same time.
I'm sure there is a time they overlap.
There's got to be.
Yeah.
And then they'll be in they're going to be in Napa Valley for a few dates in May.
Have you ever been to Napa?
No.
It's amazing.
I've never been. And then they'll be in Germany this fall. So you can see them. You've got chances to see them live if you have yet to see them, and do it. And they're still dancing. They're just like New Kids. They're still dancing. They're still singing. I don't know what's going on with Brian's voice. We'll find out. I'm assuming he's doing pretty good. So
yeah, if he's out there singing. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love that, like, these groups we're remembering from so long ago.
So long ago.
You can still access them.
I know, it's great.
Like, Boyz II Men are going to be in Orlando this month. And we could go to Vegas to see them, and New Kids. And although that will be the case with NSYNC.
No.
But so far, we can see these other groups, these other boy bands. That's pretty cool. That was so much.
I told you, it's a lot.
I'm actually really interested in the individual research too.
Oh God, that's going to take me so long.
I'm more of an NSYNC stan. I don't know as much other than that one of the Backstreet Boys like lives here by us, and a little bit about him because of that. But like, I don't know that much. I didn't even know that Kevin and Brian were cousins till today.
I know some, and I'm just going to tell you, it's going to be a haul. It's going to be a haul.
Oh boy. Okay.
And like, I'm sitting here like, where is my
snacks.
time? I know. And I'm also, I'm in rehearsals right now, and I have to work 3 times harder than a lot of people because I'm just a slow learner. So I'm like, I don't know. My husband is so fed up with me. There's no time. I have no time. Like,
if you're not rehearsing, you're researching,
or I'm practicing what I'm learning in rehearsal.
Right.
But it's fine. And also,
and Danny is teaching online fitness classes now.
Right.
You should post on our socials about that.
Okay.
For our listeners who maybe somehow didn't catch it in your other one, because any listener anywhere in the world,
international
can now
guys,
access her live online classes and on demand.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, I only had 4 people live with me that day, but 3 different countries were represented.
That's cool.
Crazy, right? It's so fun.
Cool.
So I can't wait to see what happens with that. But also like all of that. So
listeners, we'll make sure we get that up on our
socials.
So
and Katie's book. Well,
April 21.
April 21.
It's pre-order. I guess we could do a post on each. Another one. I think we did one when it went on pre-order. Maybe we'll wait till mine launches and post again.
Let's do that.
And then we'll do your So
all right, guys.
Follow us on all the things.
Next week is part 2. We'll go more into the depths on each person if I can get through it. So
You can do it. All right.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Next time.
Bye.
Bye.